Make it 8 straight winning days, a 20-8 run, and we got a 12-game slate. Let's talk some baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and you heard it, baby. The good times keep on rolling. I just can't get the smile off my face, honestly. 8 straight winning days. It's just wild. 20-8 run. It wasn't long ago that we had a brutal run in the opposite direction. So this is awesome. The positive variance is coming our way. We'll talk about those 4 bets in just a little bit, but a quick update. We just hit 26,000 subscribers. You guys are freaking awesome. I said, let's see if we can set a goal by the end of the week to hit 26,000. And you guys said, you know what? No, hold my beer. Let me just do this. Let's get it done by Wednesday. So I appreciate everyone, all the new subscribers. Thank you for joining and welcome to the channel. And a lot of this is thanks to everyone who likes and comments every single day, gets that algorithm going. So we really appreciate it. Me and Ryan are just loving this community, excited for the growth as we are getting closer to our 2 years on the channel. So anyways, just want to say thank you. But we got a 12-game slate to talk about and lots of day baseball, which obviously can be a little wacky, so be careful. But let's get into it. And it starts with that baseball fun fact. Of course, it's by @Chicago Golf Pro because he sends me a ton on Discord. I love it. This is a quick one. Kevin Youkilis, you remember, he played for the Red Sox. He had a 10-year baseball career, and he never once swung at a 3-0 pitch. That's pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie, or not impressive. I don't know how you look at it. But in this video, we're going to recap yesterday, another good day, 3-1, and then give you the good and bad hitter matchups, the good pitcher strikeout matchups, the full pitcher report, and then I'm sorry to say, like as you guys know, I went on a hike and had a day with my wife and just ran out of time tonight. There is no big game breakdown today, but I still got some best bets, and then we'll wrap it all up with the hitter parlay ideas and the bets recap. So hit that like button, leave a comment below like you guys do every single day. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as we're now on our way to 27,000 subscribers. But here we go. The baseball journey begins now. All right, there it is. We start out with Mr. Michael King, over 6.5 Ks against my Mariners. I mentioned I like the ladder and ladder up to maybe 9, maybe 10, and I had some comments of you guys actually doing it to 9, and he crushed it. He got 9 strikeouts. That line was way too freaking low. And then Framber Valdez to record a win. That was an easy winner. I mean, I pretty much got Astros to win the game at plus 100. I absolutely love that one, and they crushed him. He went 7 innings, I believe. Just an easy one there. And then Mark Vientos, over 1.5 HRRs, hits, runs, and RBIs. Added that today for a half unit, and he crushed it. I think he had 3 or 4 HRRs, to be honest with you. He had a couple doubles, just absolutely did awesome. And then the Orioles minus 1.5. It's just a half unit loss. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Orioles are struggling right now, just for at least the last little while. Cubs bats are coming on a little bit, but Imanaga, hats off to you. It was a good performance, and the Orioles did not get it done. They had chances in the first 2 innings with guys on base, only 0 or 1 out, and they just couldn't get the big hit. So, but as you see, 20-8 run, 8 straight winning days, and as you know, we were struggling for a little while, getting closer to minus 20 units, and now we're down to 6.94 as we keep inching our way in the positive. But let's keep this roll going. But before we get to those best bets, let's talk the good and bad hitter matchups. All right, we got 20 of these for you today, and it starts with Mr. Yandy Diaz, 12 for 30 versus Nasty Nestor Cortez, along with 3 home runs. And then we got Paredes. We got a lot of Tampa Bay Rays. We got some Arizona Diamondbacks against the lefty Max Fried, which is pretty surprising. Some Angels players like Taylor Ward on the right, Anthony Rendon against Luis Castillo, so on and so on. Austin Slater for the Giants, 9 for 17 against Austin Gomber. Who isn't really? No, I'm just joking. And then on the right side up there, Jeff McNeil, 7 for 9, but all 7 have been singles against the lefty Mackenzie Gore. So that's all of them. Take a scroll. That's all on the first page. Sorry. Take a screenshot. Hopefully that helps you get some winners. And let's check out the lonely little 2 after that. Enrique Hernandez, Kike, 3 for 6, 2 home runs versus Aaron Nola, and Austin Hayes is 3 for 6, all singles versus the lefty Justin Steele. So those are the good hitter matchups for July 11th. Let's check out the bad ones now, and we have 9 bad hitter matchups. And we start out with getting jiggy with it. Will Smith, 2 for 14, 3 Ks versus Aaron Nola. Alonso, Grandal, Conforto, as you see, 2 for 13, 2 for 12. So on and so on. And then, yeah, so that's all we got. I don't know if these are helping you guys or at least, giving you an idea on who to stay away from. But honestly, even if they have been struggling, it doesn't mean to stay away from them necessarily. I think Shohei was struggling against a pitcher earlier this year, and then he hit like 2 bombs off of him that day. So, anyways, that is the hitter matchups. And now let's talk some arms. All right, we got two good pitcher strikeout matchups for you today. And it starts out with Mr. Hunter Green against the Rockies. Rockies, ninth highest K percentage versus righties in the last 3 weeks. Green 116 and 104.1, like we mentioned before, not as high of a K rate as he was earlier in his career, but still solid. Similar home road splits, so nothing big there. Much higher K rate versus lefties at 30.3% compared to 22.9 versus righties. And we've mentioned this every time, but he has between 5 and 8 Ks in 16 of 18 starts. That is consistency. The other two, he had 9 strikeouts in both of those. So the next one, Mackenzie Gore against the Mets. I feel like the Nationals have played the Mets 100 times in the last month, but the Mets' 6th highest K percentage versus lefties the last 3 weeks, 26.7%. It's surprising. The Mets have been kind of all over the place. They absolutely dominated, then weren't striking out, and now they're starting to strike out a little bit more, especially against lefties. As you can see, Gore, 112 and 94 innings. He had 8 Ks versus the Mets on July 1st at home, so pretty recently, and 2 Ks all the way back on June 3rd at home. His K rate on the road is higher, which is good if you're going to take his over, but we'll see where the number drops. 29.7% compared to 25.6 at home, and there's his last 7 games. I won't read them off, but for the most part, he's been good, and then he had a couple clunkers, 2 Mets and 1 Padres, so a little bit all over the place. But anyways, those are those two. And then we got to talk about 2 of the highest strikeout pitchers on the slate, just because we have to. Mr. Paul Skeens at the Milwaukee Brewers. We know what Skeens can do. Milwaukee has the 18th highest K percentage versus righties in the last 3 weeks. That's why they didn't quite make it on here. But obviously, it's not like they cannot be struck out or anything. But they've been pretty average lately. Jack Flaherty versus the Guardians. 115 Ks in 89 innings. And Cleveland has the 11th lowest K rate versus righties in the last 3 weeks. So that's what I got for the pitcher strikeout matchups. And now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, here is page 1, the first 6 matchups that we have for you today. As we talked about, Jack Flaherty been a stud this year, going up against Spencer Howard. Obviously, advantage Tigers in the pitching matchup. Hunter Green, Austin Gomber, a huge pitching advantage for the Cincinnati Reds. Austin Gomber just has not been good. 5.03 expected ERA, doesn't miss bats. We all know that, giving up a lot of hits. And Mackenzie Gore, even though he is the ace of the Nats, he's close to a 4 ERA. He does give up a lot of hits, though. I will say that. 9.7 hits per 9 innings. Going up against David Peterson, who I just can't quite figure out yet, but he's thrown only 37.2 innings, giving up a lot of hits as well. And then Savali, who got traded from the Rays not too long ago, pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers, has not had a great season. A little bit better lately, but he's going up against Paul Skeens. That's right. He is an absolute stud, as you can see by the K rate and all that. And then Jordan Hicks, Kevin Gausman, a decent matchup. 2 guys that, I think are kind of somewhat similar. I do lean Hicks a little bit, but in general, Gausman hasn't been great. As you can see, expected ERAs are pretty similar as well. And then Nick Knack Paddywhack going up against Aaron Nola. I need to see more from Knack. I mean, I haven't been that impressed, but both have about average K rates, good walk rates, and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, those are the first 6 matchups. Take a screenshot. Hopefully it helps you get some winners. And then let's check out page 2. All right, these are the final 6 matchups, and we start in Baltimore, where the Cubs try to get the 3-game sweep in Baltimore, and they got their stud on the mound, the lefty Justin Steele, 2.77 expected ERA, and then Albert Suarez taking the mound, due for some big-time negative regression, as you can see there. And then Nasty Nestor, we're going to talk about that game in a little while, going up against Shane Baz, who is only making his 2nd start this season. And then Funky Cole Medina going up against Tanner Houck. Again, Tanner's been pretty solid this year as well. Is 3.08 expected ERA doesn't say he's going to be having that much negative regression. He doesn't walk a lot of guys, above average K rate. He's just been solid. I mean, there's nothing more to say. Luis Medina's not good. Let's just face it. Roderick Munoz gives up a home run like every 2 pitches, it seems like. 7.14 expected ERA. He is not a very good pitcher. Going up against Bloss, who I don't know anything about. 3.2 innings pitched so far. And then we got Luis Castillo going up against, that name, Czechoslovakia. I don't know what that says, guys. But he's a rookie. Let me tell you about him. And guess who got taken down because of him? Or not just because of him, but Mr. Davis Daniel. The guy we just faded and we thought he might go down? Well, he did. Enter up another 5.5 ERA guy from the minor leagues. All I know about him is he's a big ground ball pitcher. He had a below average 19% K rate in the minors. What that's going to be in the majors, it's not pretty. Luckily for him, he gets the Seattle Mariners, who just cannot hit anything. So anyways, we'll see what he does in his opening day or his Major League Baseball debut there. And then we got Max Fried versus Brandon Pfaadt. Fat's been actually pretty decent, and Max Fried, we know what he can do. Doesn't miss a ton of bats, average K rate, but good command and things like that. He's just been a solid veteran pitcher for the Braves. So, anyways, that's all I got for all 12 games. That is the pitcher report, and now it's time for the best bets. Bet number one takes us out to Tropicana Field with the Tampa Bay Rays host the New York Yankees. Spanky's on the money line, minus 120. Rays money line, plus 100 with a total of 8 runs. Guys, my best bet. We're doing a player prop. Give me Nasty Nestor Cortez under 17.5 outs recorded at minus 125 on Bet 365. I'm going to be just upfront with you guys because I'm here to help you guys as much or just kind of let you guys know what my thought process was. I was very close to going Rays team total over 2.5 in the first 7 innings, but it started getting juiced to minus 135, minus 140. And that's why I ended up leaning here because I could have gone either way. I also like their team total over 3.5 for the full game as well. It's just going back to the well, a lefty versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, I got a lot to talk about, so let's start out by looking at the numbers in Outlier for Mr. Nasty Nestor Cortez. Here we go. So, as you can see there in 2024, he's been under at 47% of the games. Nothing big there, obviously, hit rate-wise and all that, but it is all about Nasty Nestor on the road. Let's go change it to road games now. And he has just not been pretty, guys. There it is, under this line in 7 of 9 games, including Tampa Bay this season. He also played Tampa Bay another time at home and threw a gem because that's the only place he knows how to throw a gem. But as you can see by those numbers on Outlier, in 3 of these 9 road starts, he didn't even make it past the 13 innings. I mean, it just has not been pretty for him, and we'll talk about more numbers on the road later. But also, let's take a look at the Rays hitters over there. So if we click on the Rays hitters, and then we can see what they've done versus Nasty Nestor Cortez, just those matchups. And you already saw a lot of them in the good hitter matchups. Yandy hitting 400 against them, Lowe 2 for 4, Paredes, all that. So you can see what he's doing against them, and then you can see what they're doing against lefties, just lefties in general. You see a lot of green. Huge OPSs. They're just absolutely crushing the ball. And we'll actually back that up by scrolling down a little bit more and looking at the rankings also. I mean, they've just been dominating. Last 30 days, top 5 and everything, just raking some more. They got 4 runs in the first inning versus Rodon. Rodon didn't come close to this line either in his last start versus the Rays. And that's what got us a winner. But anyways, that's Outlier. So be sure to go check Outlier out and click that link below. You got to go sign up. It's incredible. We got NFL around the corner, helps with WNBA, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more to Outlier, which we'll get into more at some point as well. But now let's talk some more stats about this one. Nestor has struggled versus righties. First of all, 284 average, 425 slugging overall. Versus righties on the road, a 307 average against and a 575 slugging. 9 of the 15 home runs that Nasty Nestor's given up have been against righties on the road. So I'm talking about that because I think they could get him out of the game just by hitting him alone. But another way they could do it is because they see a lot of pitches. Might be surprising to you guys, but the Rays see the second most pitches per plate appearance in the entire league. They see 4.01 pitches per plate appearance. That's hard to say, Pat. Guess who number 1 is? You're not going to guess. It's the Mariners at 4.05 because, it takes at least 3 to strike them out. But the Rays have seen the 5th most 3-0 counts. That's some research right there for you, just to show their patience and all that. But they have the 8th highest walk rate versus lefties in the last 30 days. The name of the game when you want under outs is how can you get his pitch count up. 16 of the 23 left-handed starters against the Rays this year, 16 of 23 have gone under this 17.5 outs line. 11 of the 14 that have played in Tampa Bay, those lefties, 11 of those 14 went under. I mean, it's just a huge hit rate because they work counts. They know how to hit lefties and they can work counts. So all in all, I don't think this line should be playable at 17.5, and maybe it goes down to 16.5 by first pitch. So I love the bet. Give me under 17.5 outs for Nasty Nestor. Again, a pivot for me would be Rays team total over 2.5 in the first 7 innings, or possibly over 3.5 for the full game. But that is bet number 1. All right, this second one takes us out to Fenway Park where the Red Sox host the Oakland A's. Red Sox on the money line, minus 218. A's on the money line, plus 170 with a total of a whopping 10 runs. I got a little same game parlay, so here we go. Give me Tanner Houck, 5+ Ks, and the Red Sox money line at minus 128 on DraftKings. So let's talk about Mr. Houck, 5+ Ks. So Right now, his line is at over 5.5, and it's starting to get really juiced, like minus 150, minus 160. It might move to 6.5. I just need 5Ks here. Now, he is facing the A's offense, and by the way, this almost made the pitcher K matchups. Maybe it should have. The A's offense, second highest strikeout percentage versus righties in the last 3 weeks at 27.4%. Only that one team is beating them, and you already know who that is by a lot. Even worse on the road. How about a 30.1% K rate on the road against righties? And the last 4 righties to face the Oakland A's, one of these is going to be unreal. Ready? Nick Pivetta struck out 10 Oakland Athletics. Brian Bayo, if you don't know him, let me tell you something about him. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He finds a lot of barrels. He struck out 11 Oakland Athletics. Then Grayson Rodriguez, 8. Albert Suarez, 6. Tanner Houck is an above-average strikeout pitcher. I expect him to get 5 fairly easily. He does have 5 or more Ks in 8 of his last 10 games. 5 or more in 7 of his last 10 home games. He had 10 Ks versus the A's already in his first start of the season, so it was a long time ago, but still, he knew how to handle this lineup. I don't see any reason at all why he cannot get 5 Ks. Now, the second part, Red Sox money line, and I almost changed this for just a Red Sox minus 1.5, but as the home team, I'm just going to stick with the Red Sox money line and Houck because I like the Houck part. But huge starting pitcher advantage here, as you guys know. But Houck's been solid this year. Solid advanced numbers too, but a 3.23 ERA at home, which is actually worse because on the road he has just under a 2. But I mean, a 3.23 ERA is very solid, that's for sure. He has given up 2 or less earned runs in 13 of his 18 starts this year, and he is facing an A's team. As I mentioned, they are terrible on the road. But last 3 weeks versus righties on the road, 6th fewest runs scored. Second highest K rate, 9th worst WRC plus, and the 6th worst slugging. That's right. It has not been pretty. Now, let's go to the other side. Funky Cole Medina. He's been better in his last 2 starts. I'm not going to lie. I still don't think he's a very good pitcher, though. He has 4 less Ks in 5 of those of his 7 starts this year. So he's not missing a ton of bats. He does have some big-time command issues. He has 17 walks now in 35 innings already. That's like 1 every 2 innings, hash brown math. But he is facing a good Red Sox lineup. Last 3 weeks versus righties, 7th best WRC plus, 3rd best slugging. That's right. They have been hitting some bombs. 9th highest on base percentage. We got great hitting conditions. That's why you see a 10-run total. And I think it's advantage home team. Boston hits well at home, and they have the much better starting pitcher, much better lineup. They have had the better bullpen. A's started out hot this year in their bullpen, but they've come crashing back down to earth. Mason Miller did throw yesterday. Maybe he's available. He's hopefully not going to get in because that means the Red Sox are leading. But all I need is a win. And Houck, 5+ Ks, and that is my second best bet. And now let's check out the hitter parlay ideas. All right, those are the only 2 bets that I have so far. Again, I'll add more. It'll be in the pinned comments below on X and on Discord, but I got to get some sleep. It's been a long day. But first one, Yandy Diaz, 12 for 30 off Nasty Nestor, like I already mentioned. Cortez struggles against righties, which I've already mentioned, especially on the road. And Yandy Diaz, 330 off lefties, 290 at home. You know the drill. Yandy's the man. Jeff McNeil, this one's a risky one. I'm not going to lie. He's lefty for the Mets, if you don't know him. He is 7 for freaking 9 versus Mackenzie Gore. It's impressive. That's why he's here. But he's hitting better versus lefties also, but it's still 244 compared to 204. So that should tell you right there. He's not having his best year, hitting 216 on the season. This is all about a matchup. If you need something that is very good odds, he's not going to have one of those minus 280 odds or anything like that. If he does, absolutely do not take him. But he is a risky one. So third one, Ketel Marte. Yes, he has a tough matchup. It's Max Fried. He's a good pitcher, but he is 4 for 11, as you already saw, with 2 extra base hits off him. He's also crushing lefties, 333 on the season, also hitting 312 at home. 367 is his average at home versus lefties. See what I did there? Okay, joined them together. 1+ hit in 10 of his last 15 games. I like Ketel Marte. And then Logan O'Hoppe. I think that's how you say it. It's the Angels hitter. He's been on a roll. If you don't know much about him, he had 324 in June, 346 so far in July. He hits righties well to the tune of a 307 average compared to 197 versus lefties, by the way. He has 1+ hit in 12 of his last 15, 2+ hits in 4 of his last 10. He is facing Mr. Luis Castillo, probably like the 4th best starting pitcher on the Mariners staff. It doesn't mean he's terrible. It just means the Mariners staff is that good. But he hasn't been as dominant. He's not as like Luis Castillo of 2 years ago, getting hit around a little bit more. Also not missing as many bats, giving up about 8 hits per 9 innings. He has over a 4.5 ERA on the road. He can be hit around. That's another option. That's a good sneaky option. And then the 5th one, we just cashed this bet. How about Mark Vientos of the New York Mets? He is facing Mackenzie Gore, who has given up almost 10 hits per 9 innings. He is already 2 for 5 off Gore with a bomb, hitting an awesome 338 versus lefties. You may see another Vientos bet for me in the morning. We will find out. I like him to stay hot, though. So those are my 5-hitter parlay ideas, my 2 best bets so far. All the research help you guys hopefully need for Thursday. Let's keep this train rolling, but let's check out the recap. There it is. Nasty Nestor under 17.5 outs recorded at -125. Again, a pivot would be Rays team total over 2.5 in the first 7 innings or over 3.5 in the full game if you can't do the under outs. Tanner Houck, 5+ Ks and Red Sox money line, a little same game parlay at -128. And those are my 2 best bets right now. I don't love the slate, but I'm definitely going to have one, possibly 2 bets out in the morning. So be sure to check the pinned comments and all that. So thank you guys for listening, though. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun, this run. Let's see if we can keep this going as long as possible. But hope everyone has a great Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon.